If you want to know, I love you. I shall always. I'm sure you manage most of your affairs more cleverly than that.
Thank you. You're very young and very ambitious. And may I say that ambition is a high climb with no way of getting down.
You may be right. I'll have to find out for myself.
You might spare yourself a lot of bumps and bruises if you listen to Mr. Vendig. His philosophy today is that success doesn't mean a thing.
You won't give way so much as an inch, will you, Vic?
No, but that's your fault, Hoss. You've always handled me so easily that I've got my guard up. Now, let's face it, you haven't done anything but talk.
But I have to talk to somebody, and you're the only one I can talk to. All my life, I've spent collecting things that I can't trust. Nothing that's part of me. Money I've made, it's no more than this house. And you saw how easily that was transferred. Tell me more about yourself.
There's really not much. I work rather hard. As a matter of fact, most of my time is taken up by my music.
All of it?
There's not enough left to share, if that's what you're driving at.
Surely you can't refuse your host the first dance. Please.
Just this one.
Tell me, is Vic to be congratulated?
Don't you want Vic to have cause for congratulations?
Yes. Up until 10 minutes ago. Now I wish he didn't even exist. Or were away exploring another planet, or anything that would leave you here with me.
But I might like exploring another planet. Sounds exciting.
What do you want?
Mallory?
Dick, you've had so many evenings with Mallory. Give me just part of this one.
Well, since you put it that way, and remembering the past, the only answer I can possibly give you is no.
Well, at least let's all have a drink together.
Old-fashioned, martini.
Why, Buck, did he write to you, too?
He wants to make his peace. Me before anyone, I'd imagine. But you, what harm has he done you? You're coarse, Krista. Did he do that to you? Your hair was pure gold once. Now it looks like brass.
Fool hairdresser of mine uses a hard rinse. Don't stare at me, Buck. You make me nervous.
I remember the day.
I don't want to remember any day. I came in here for a drink, and
And you found a memory. What else are we here for? But to remember. Sit down.
No, Buck.
And we remember.
Krista.
He frightened me. Why do you have him here?
Oh, I'm afraid this man caused a little trouble, Mr. Vendig. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Krista.
There must be some fun here somewhere.
I'll have him escorted out.
No. Mr. Mansfield is my guest. I hope your presence here means that my letter was taken in the spirit in which I intended it.
Means I came here to see if all this stuff was another of your confounded tricks. I'm old. Maybe you think I'm weak. Blind, too, like Samson, eh? Well, lo, he pressed his palms against the pillars of the temple.
Just say the word, Mr. Vendig.
Tell this vermin to stand away from me.
Lieutenant.
Get me a drink.
Charles, there's a bottle on your left. Mr. Mansfield, you introduced me to a lot of things. Including this. It's 21 years old. Sorry. I wish that hadn't happened. A man doesn't go very far in life without leaving some rag ends behind him.
Who was that?
That's all that's left of an emperor. Now he's just an old man who's lost his money and his wife. Since his wife was all he lived for, I suppose he's dead. I understand you do put a little corn and oil on his grave, occasionally.
Doesn't that help?
It's still a grave.
We can quarrel, we often have. But the only time we ever split was you who forced us into it.
I know. Maybe we should have stayed that way. Perhaps I didn't know when I was well off.
Vic, I've never turned my back on you. It was you who turned your back on me. Vic, it's wonderful to see you.
Thanks. We've a lot to talk about.
Of course. And the first is, how was South America?
Oh, it makes New York look like a one-room apartment. There's air down there, space. Wherever you look, you see the sky. It's the new frontier house, maybe the last one. Did you ever think of that? There are fortunes made every day. You ought to be coming back with me. This stinks of ledgers and stocks and bonds. Come down there and breathe.
Did you ever get within grasping distance of one of those fortunes?
My poor misguided friend. See, observe. This little bit of paper is known as a bank draft. Would you read it to me?
$300,000.
My partners and I split a cool $1 million. Not bad pay for a few years' hard work. Well, when do we leave?
Sorry, Vic. It's not enough.
No. I didn't think it would be. I also think, Mr. Vendig, that you want too much.
There's no such thing as too much. You didn't make a fortune, Vic. You were well paid for your work, that's all. Fortunes are made here on Wall Street.
Sure, sure. Who's the young lady?
Her name is Susan.
Nice. I like old-fashioned names. Susan, Ruth, Prudence, Martha.
You've grown very devious, Vic.
You're not being very straight from the shoulder yourself. Did you expect me to believe what you said in your letter, that she turned you out? If ever a girl more obviously threw her heart and soul at someone's feet...
You do that very neatly.
I've become a wicked old man.
Martha has two very good eyes and intelligence. It didn't take her long to realize that there would always be a struggle between our love and my ambition.
Well, she was right. I can say that for her. Why didn't she tell me? A letter, even a postcard. She knows I love her.
I don't know. Pride, maybe. I searched everywhere for her. She seems to have dropped out of the world.
I stopped off in Boston on the way here. Everything's changed. Martha gone, Mrs. Burnside moved away, the old man dead.
What?
Didn't you know he died?
No. No, that's wicked news. He was like my father, Vic.
You mean no one wrote to you? No one told you a thing like that? Boss, what happened between you and the family? Just because
It was very painful for all of us. I had to make a clean break. There's one thing you've got to remember, Vic. I loved her.
Of course. Don't pay any attention to me. I'm not only a wicked old man, I'm a suspicious one.
I don't care what you are. You're fine with me.
Thanks. Well, I'm glad to see you're doing so well for yourself anyway.
H. Woodruff Vendig Incorporated. Sounds big.
Are you going to marry the young lady?
Why?
Well, when a man keeps a girl's picture on his desk, it usually means...
Hello? Yes, put him on. Now watch how we do it on the stock market. Hello, Mr. McDonald? Why don't you take my suggestion and let me go before the board of directors personally? The prospectus I sent you only gave the bare figures. I see. Yes, I understand, Mr. McDonald. Thank you, sir. Goodbye. Well, Vic, where were we?
The man said no.
Yes. And a big operation, Vic. A chance that may come only once in a man's career on Wall Street. But Montgomery Trust, that's the bank in which this McDonald is one of the chief stockholders, can't see it.
But that doesn't make sense. I may be only an engineer.
For an engineer, the interesting thing is not where I'd get the money, but what I'd do with it. Have you ever heard of the Mansfield Utilities Empire?
No? Am I ignorant?
Its polite name is Delta Bond and Share. It's an independent utilities company that exists in the shadow of one man, Buck Mansfield. A crazy fabrication, this utilities empire. It's one strong man overriding a lot of weak ones. Drunk with power, capricious, whimsical, thinking his will is nature's law.
But that's a monopoly. What holds it together?
His personality. And right now, I'm beginning to wonder just how long that personality will stand up under pressure.
Pressure? From you, Hoss? You're dreaming.
Of course I'm dreaming. The same dreams you had when you went to South America. Vic, this Mansfield is holding up communications, power, the very gas that a farm woman needs to cook her meal.
And you need $250,000.
Well, 300,000 to be exact. It's nothing compared to what his holding companies represent. But, Vic, this is David and Goliath.
Hoss, I'm with you.
How far?
My 300,000. I believe in power, and I believe in people. And it's my job as an engineer to bring the two together. My partners and I, we took in electricity, and we made poor people rich. We built bridges, and we turned enemies into good neighbors.
Vic, we've been marking time for years just for this moment. This buys you a partnership. You know what we're going to call it?
Call it what you like. We'll free the power.
And start the mill trolling.
Put prices within reach of the smallest farmer.
Right. Come back around 6 o'clock, Vic. I'll have the papers ready.
Fine. I'm going to like working with you, Hoss. You're all right.
Get me Miss Duane.